U.S. Women's Open, presented by the brands of Ebonite International.
All right, so we're here at the Ebonite Test Center, and we're talking about how lanes transition and how much they actually change over the 6 games that the women are going to be bowling in the 2011 BPA US Open. And one of the things that we do well at Kegel is show how lanes transition. So for this segment, we're actually going to show our viewers actually live transition that was done at the Kegel Training Center over 6 games on the Women's US Open with 4 of the Weber International female players, the defending national champions, some very, very good bowlers. And we're able to show these live, what I call live transitions, after 15 minutes of practice, after 1 game, 2 games, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we'll be able to put those together in a format where you'll actually be able to see the pattern morph in front of your eyes. And all of you are going to be very, very astonished on how much the lane changes, but also how fast the lane changes. So with that said, one of the hardest things for amateurs, specifically the girls, to do is get used to moving. And I know that especially in today's environment with the lane oils and the bowling balls ripping the oil off the lane, and as our tech guys would say at Kegel, the best lane stripper in the world are the bowling balls. They clean it off pretty fast. How did you girls get used to moving and get comfortable moving as you started to become the players that you are today, and knowing that you have to make a living in that environment, and adjusting to the lanes is really 80% of the key today. How did you get comfortable doing that, Kelly?
Well, for me, the only way to strike is to hit the pocket. And once the oil is moved and soaked up in the bowling ball, you have to find where there's going to be more oil to give you more length to the pocket. So for me, moving inward was something that I simply had to do and get better at. And what I try to do is visualize the picture in my mind, using the focal points as the pins in the back portion of the lane, then targeting through the arrows, and really just trying to see that imaginary diagonal line to where I know the friction is there and it's going to take the ball to the pocket. So my brain becomes like a camera dell, and I kind of take a mental picture of it, and then really my physical game is so strong I just go through that motion, and if it's the same off my hand every time, chances are it's going to be a good delivery and sound delivery. So key for me, knowing when the lanes break down and moving is when I leave a 4-pin or if I trip a 4-pin. That's a sign that the oil is moving, the ball is soaking up more of it, and it's becoming more and more dry in that area of the lane. So I need to move inward where I know there's going to be more oil that's going to allow the ball to skid for a further distance.
Liz, how did you get confidence to move? And that's really, again, a big challenge for everyone, is being able to move. And sometimes even before you lose the pocket, I know the guys on the tour say we got to stay ahead of it. And as again, our viewers will see, is that it changes quickly. How did you get comfortable moving?
You just kind of had to go with your gut, and just, if you watch, the other bowlers, play a little deeper, and my ball was going high. You just had to be confident. Not just bowling's not just a physical game; it's a mental game. You just say, hey, this is what I got to do, and just find where your ball's going a little bit longer. Maybe not hitting as light, and maybe not move as far left. Stay a little bit to the right. If your ball's going, just going high, leaving a 4-pin or even a big 4 or something like that, then you have to, make that move even further left, and just have to have some confidence and do what you got to do.
So do you wait until you actually hit high into the pocket to move, or do you actually really watch your ball reaction and the people around you and kind of get a feel for the pattern and actually make the move off a flush strike?
Well, I think you have to watch your own ball reaction as well as the people that are in the same lane as you are. Take example for league bowling. If you're the anchor bowler and you have everyone ahead of you striking out in the 10th frame, chances are your line or angle has moved slightly. So you might want to make that adjustment ahead of time to beat it and know that you're going to be still lined up to the pocket. But again, before, like I said, if I leave a 4-pin or I trip a 4-pin, if I see the ball moving, or if I knew I executed a very good shot but it made a direction change, then I know I have to make a move. It's really, I think, the difference between a good bowler and a great bowler is a great bowler will know he or she made a bad shot, and they can move automatically. So it becomes confidence in your own physical game and just simply executing.
Well, here's a real general question that I get all the time. How much do you move off a 4-pin?
For me nowadays, like you said, with the strong bowling balls that they are and the lane service, for me a 4-pin is easily a 2-in-1 move inward.
Sometimes it
Liz?
could be as small as a half a board to a board.
Okay.
It depends. It depends on how, if I maybe threw a bad shot, I may not move at all. If I need to throw a good shot, it's probably.
Okay. So again, if you look at some of our earlier conversations, both of you throw it very, very different, and obviously your moves are different just for the same pin. And that's another good lesson for our audience, that my move maybe off a 4-pin is usually 1-0. I'm throw the ball a little bit more like you, Liz, and so my moves are a little bit less. But also I've had to learn as the environment has changed that you don't want to wait till you leave the 4-pin. A lot of times you don't even go strike 4-pin anymore. You go strike big 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very uncomfortable for the amateur player or the weekend hobbyist who certainly wants a chance to come to the U.S. Open. A lot of times they don't want to make a mistake. But I would tell you, and let me ask you if you agree with this. I would much rather leave a 2-pin than a big 4. So if I'm going to ever, if I'm always in guessing mode and trying to stay ahead of it, I'm always going to lean towards moving a little bit too much, because as Coach Randy Stoughton says at the training center, the best strike percentage in the game of bowling is light pocket. And so I'd rather take my chances there than wait and go high. So, well, let me ask you some other questions. Off a good shot and you leave a 10-pin, what do you do?
Off a good shot, 10-pin, flat 10, ring 10, maybe I just move my eyes slightly. If everything's in the pocket, I execute it really soundly, then I may just shorten up my eyes at my target maybe a foot closer so the ball starts up a little bit sooner. But very seldom will I try to change anything physical, because I want to be able to repeat what I do so well.
Liz?
Again, depending if it's a flat 10 or a ring 10, I may move maybe a board or so, or just bring my eyes in just like a foot and let the ball roll up a little sooner.
So it sounds like, again, very small adjustments, but again, you're moving. And that's really kind of the theme to this segment is getting comfortable moving, and know that you're going to make mistakes, but knowing that if you keep your feet in the same place too long, that's probably the biggest mistake of all. So hopefully all of you get the gist that you're going to have to move the pattern. Take a look at some of the visuals that we're providing. The amount of change in the lane conditions are pretty astonishing. And again, this was done by the Weber International Women's Team. So these are girls that are bowling and breaking the lane down, much like everyone out there that's going to either be qualifying or actually bowling in the Open are going to have to go through. So hopefully you take these tips. It'll gain you some confidence. You can make some better moves, and you'll be the best you can be during this event.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kulik, 2010 U.S. Open Women's Champion. I invite you ladies to come on out and sharpen your skills and learn about the game of bowling. You will be entitled to work with some of the best coaches there is in the sport of bowling. If you're looking to sharpen your skills, learn about the U.S. Open pattern, and someday be a future competitor in this event, I encourage you to come out, put on your shoes, tie them up, and give it a go. You too can bowl to win.
Bowling's U.S. Women's Open, presented by the Brands of Ebonite International.